Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News podcast. We are absolutely buzzing today. Obviously, different background on my end over in Greece. I did get, I'm a little red, so my apologies if you're like, why do you look like a tomato? C'est la vie, we're doing our best and we're still grinding here. Super pumped, super pumped to have today's guest on the show today. I believe this is the fourth episode from someone within the Tether family coming on the show. Today we have the one and only Lorenzo R on the show, the active leader in the Tether ecosystem with 5 years of experience in cross-chain liquidity and stablecoin infra. He's currently the co-founder of USDT0, the unified liquidity framework for USDT, allowing for connectivity across blockchain ecosystems without friction. He's also the co-founder of Everdawn Labs and a contributor to multiple DeFi DAOs. Previously, he spearheaded Alloy by Tether, the groundbreaking tethered asset designed to track reference asset prices using Tether Gold as collateral. Super pumped to get into this. And he is a Hyperliquid big fan. My guy, Lorenzo, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you this lovely morning?
Thank you so much, Matt. I'm all good. It's a wet morning in Switzerland where I'm based. Raining like crazy. It's all gray. I'm definitely envious of your background.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. We're still grinding though. But just because you're in Greece doesn't mean you ain't grinding. We are grinding. Let's jump right into it.
Agreed.
I want to start with the Hyperliquid bridge and the Hyperliquid / USDT0 relationship. Hyperliquid, the ecosystem, came out 2 years ago. The coin came out November of last year. So literally, heck, that's what, 10 months old kind of thing. It's gonna be 10 months old by the time this episode airs on September 1st. Hyperliquid is what, the 11th, 12th, 13th largest crypto by market cap present day. I mean, the revenue per employee just came out. They actually just beat you guys. You guys were number 2 or number 1 for the longest time. And they just stole your throne, which I'm sure you guys love to see as well. But there's one thing that I don't like about Hyperliquid, Lorenzo. There is one thing only, and it is the fact that there is no easy way to stable up or to bridge and unbridge, to on-ramp and off-ramp on Hyperliquid. And you guys are moving and grooving and doing a huge thing in this space. Before we get into all this, walk me through your relationship with USDT0, your previous relationship with Tether, and then we'll get into Hyperliquid and what you guys are doing and all the fun stuff here.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, thank you for the intro. It was super nice and I'm very stoked to be here. It's actually the first time that I'm on camera, so I'm very excited and happy to be able to do it with you. So yeah, basically, I'm a DeFi guy myself. I've been working in and out of DeFi projects, DAOs for the last 5 years of my life. I've always been pretty close to Tether and the Tether family. Paolo, Marco, Giancarlo, everybody that is actively working on the stablecoin is somebody that I've always respected a ton and that I've always seen some kind of mentors and people that have helped me going through my whole DeFi journey. 3 years ago, we started working on what ended up being Alloy. You mentioned it briefly. Alloy is a Tether product. You can already use it at alloy.tether.to. It's a pretty interesting design. It's a very straightforward CDP position. For DeFi people like us, it's something obvious, but for something like Tether, which has always been very focused on the centralized aspect of stuff, it's definitely something cool and something that we were not expecting to be able to ship so fast. The cool thing about it is that it is a CDP position stablecoin, US dollar denominated, but it accepts only one kind of collateral, which is Tether Gold. I think it's a very interesting design. I've always been a big fan of decentralized stablecoins, and CDP positions based ones are the most resilient and the most easy to not only grow, but also to make flourish in the ecosystem. But I've always thought that having collateral like ETH and Bitcoin was definitely good until you get to 10, 15 billion in market cap, but then you need something more stable and less volatile, otherwise it becomes very challenging. And Tether Gold was the perfect fit for it. We can go into more details into what Tether Gold is, but that's basically what me and my co-founders did together with Tether for the last 3 years. And then after that, we very quickly started moving a little bit more towards the USDT side of things. We helped out Paolo and the rest of the Tether team on a couple of native deployments, bringing them through audits, etc., etc. And basically, while we were doing that, we realized that there was a huge problem in the way Tether expands new chains and the way Tether moves between chains. You guys are probably familiar with CCTP, which is the native interoperability protocol for Circle. There are other large stablecoins like Athena that were already using the OFT model pioneered by Layer 0. And our thought was very simple. There's the best stablecoin in the world, the one that has the most users, the most traction, and probably the best team shipping it behind it, but it's lacking this tiny piece of technology which would make it interoperable. And for a DeFi guy like myself, this was a huge deal because think about how little you can do with a stablecoin if the only way you have to bridge it between networks is by liquidity pools. You ended up paying tons of money and you ended up having extremely problematic transfers because you cannot have those unlimited transfers that we're now seeing on the USDT0 network. So we came up with this problem. We pitched it to Paolo. We're like, hey, what do you think? Can we help out here? He said yes. And that's basically when USDT0 was born. Fast forward, I would say 15 months. So we're now the largest movers of USDT in the ecosystem. We're also the second largest mover of funds between blockchains, if you will. And right after the Hyperliquid bridge, even though I'm not so sure that you could define Hyperliquid as a Hyperliquid traditional infrastructure, it goes between chains as a bridge. But still, we're going very well. We're so excited. We were not expecting so much traction. And what we realized is that when you give a product that has product market fit to users, and you make it a tiny bit better, you make something that is already amazing a tiny bit better, it just skyrockets, right? Like we're seeing hundreds of millions of USDT moving through the USDT0 network every day. And it's been very humbling and very exciting, to be honest.
I mean, it's been a wild run. $6 billion in volume in 6 to 8 months, as per the top 3 on DeFi Llama bridges. Like, I mean, again, for me, as not an insider per se, it's the wrong word, but as someone who is a crypto degen, if there was a poly market on that, I probably would have taken the over on 6 mil, in 6 to 8 months. But for the average Joe and Josephine, Lorenzo, who aren't familiar with Tether and how much you guys do, it's like they probably would have said you're out to lunch, right? I mean, just some Tether stats, off top of head, second largest revenue to employee rate in the world. You guys make $30 million a day. Tether, like it's like 30
Tether does.
Yes.
I wanna make sure USDT0 doesn't do $30 million a day. I wish but
no,
but
you know what I mean though. It's literally one of the biggest and most important and powerful businesses in the world. And I want to take just a little sort of left turn and talk about something else for a sec. And I have discussed this on the pod many a times here, Lorenzo, but Trump, obviously meeting Paolo, a couple months ago as well, but Trump should be forever grateful, and the Americans should be forever grateful to keep the US dollar dominance and regarding what you guys have done. Like Tether very well could have single-handedly been the reason if crypto goes crazy mainstream over the next couple of years, which I think we both think it will. Everyone uses USDT. Like, I'm sorry, I know you're European here, mate. I'm Canadian. I'll tell you for free that no one's going to ever use a freaking Canadian stablecoin, aka Canadian shitcoin, just because no one cares. If I go to your country and I want to pay in Canadian dollars, they're going to laugh at me. I can go to any country in the world and pay with US dollars, and they're going to accept it. And in a couple of years, I can probably go to any country in the world and pay with USDT, and they're going to accept it. My girlfriend's Argentinian. You can pay for shit in Argentina in Tether. They don't accept Circle, but they do accept Tether everywhere almost. It's wild, right? So like just on that little note aside, what's the internal talk with the team regarding like how much you guys have done for the US dollar hegemony? Like, do you guys ever talk about that and say, man, we deserve more credit?
Well, I don't know what's going on within the Tether team. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of discussions happening, and it's fun to see it. I think what I've seen as somebody that have seen Tether grow, like, basically from the beginning, always from an outside perspective, and only sometimes deeping dive into the intricacies of the actual company. I think the coolest thing is that now people are seeing the vision that Paolo and the rest of management had nearly, 7-8 years ago now. Like it's so powerful to me, because I remember when the Tether Fund was happening. I remember when people were saying, oh, this is going to disappear in 2 months. And now everybody's just following behind the standard, and everybody's like, well, and the US is realizing how much of a powerful tool Tether actually is. Because as you said, if you end up in Africa, in Latin America, in India, maybe in those places, you're not going to be able to have US dollar bank accounts, but you're definitely going to be able to see people having USDT. I went to Bogota for one DevCon, and it was the very first time that I've actually seen firsthand what all of this meant. Because as you said, I'm Italian, I live in Switzerland, right? For me, get a bank account, I can do it in 5 minutes likely. Stablecoins are not a technology that was developed and made specifically for me. It also works for me because I use it every day, but I am not the product market fit. I'm not the target group. When I was in Bogota, though, I could see, like, I was going around and people had said, well, I do not have a bank account, but I accept USDT on Tron. And I was like, you what? Like, really? So this is not all I mean. This is actually happening. Same thing for Africa. Like in Africa, people have M-Pesa. And the last time I was in Africa, I was going around trying to buy those tiny street foods. I don't remember the name, in Dar es Salaam. And you could either pay with M-Pesa or with Tether. And I was like, this is so weird. Like I've not seen it happening so fast. And that was already 4 years ago. So I can only imagine how the situation is expanding now. And the Tether team is doing a fantastic job in expanding this. I mean, explaining to the whole world what they're doing. Because as you said, this is the biggest tool for maintaining the dollar hegemony in the world. Tether is likely one of the largest players, and it will become even larger, in my opinion, in the next few years, when it comes to helping out the US in making all of this work, right? And I think it's very powerful. And I have my own opinions on how stablecoins are made and the fact that more stablecoins are coming, if it's good or bad. But I honestly, and I've said this in the past, I don't see Tether losing their momentum or losing their current standing just because they are the only stablecoin that I've seen so far that focuses on the last mile.
Well said.
Like, again, stablecoins and what make your stablecoin great is not the US people, the European people, the Canadian people, like all of us, we can live on, we're already living on a good, fine enough system. It can be better, but fine enough. But all of those people in those third world countries and in less developed countries, they need Tether. And without it, they do not live. And for me, there was like just an eye-opening moment, because Paolo and the rest of the Tether team always told me about this. And then when I saw it happening, I was like, okay, I got to do something that helps out. Because I'm a DeFi guy, but and the reason why I was building in DeFi was exactly the same reasons that I'm now trying to help the Tether ecosystem. Because for me, we got to give permissionless economic freedom tools to the people that were left out by the system. And Paolo and the whole Tether team, they've always done it from the beginning. And I think they're just the best in the world in executing it.
Yeah, well said, mate. A couple more questions about stablecoins in general, and then we'll take the deep dive into USDT0 here, mate. You just said about 1 minute ago your thoughts, and we don't have to do a deep dive, but again, you're one of the few people who can actually give a legitimate take on this. Do we need more stablecoins? Are there already too many stablecoins? Are we fine with Tether and Circle? Do we need specialized stablecoins, right? Stripe, stablecoin. I mean, is there going to be a world where the Mag 7, where NVIDIA has a stablecoin, Google, Amazon, is there going to be just a world where everyone has a stablecoin?
I don't know. That's an easy one. For me, like, I've been around long enough to see all of those protocols and all of those new products come up, right? And only very few of them really do get product market fit. Now, I'm a romantic, and at heart, I still am looking forward for the day that a truly decentralized stablecoin will come up and will be an option for people that are willing to use it and that decide to use it. At the same time, you're right. Like, many people are now doing their centralized stablecoins, right? You have Liberty, you have Circle, you have PayPal. In the next few years, we're definitely going to see some larger players in the payment processing industry probably coming up with their own thing. And then that's because it's this narrative, it's this cycle narrative, right? Like, everybody wants to make a stable coin. My feeling is that there's going to be some kind of power law happening in all of this. So the first two stable coins will have 99.5% of the market cap. There's also some technologies like Ethena, which I guess they kind of define themselves as a stablecoin, even though it's not exactly a stablecoin, right? Like, it's a little bit different of a system, and they've been amazing. Like, Ethena has been one of the coolest stories to see. I remember when Ethena launched and seeing it now at, like, what is it now, $12 billion nearly. It's something that, I don't know, it's very nice for me because I've seen them growing up and I've seen them, like, getting all this traction. They're also rocking right now, so we love working with the Ethena guys. By the way, we're also built on the same technology, so it's like family. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think that we're going to see tons of stablecoins, but only very few of them will really get traction and will really get product market fit. One thing that I usually say is that when PayPal launched its stablecoin, I was 90% sure it would have become the biggest in the world. And the reason why was because all of my Italian friends and all of the people I know have a PayPal account, and very few of them were using Tether. And now PayPal has been live for 2 years, and it's like a great product, but it still hasn't reached the same size that something like Circle or Tether actually did. And that told me that distribution channels are not everything. What is everything is this trust that you get in the industry, the battle testing, the resilience. And this is stuff that, honestly, only USDT has achieved.
Well,
and that's why I'm only comfortable using either USDC or some very
and think about the compose
USDT, sorry, not USDC. USDT, I said. No,
I feel think about the composability of Tether, though. Like, you guys literally have a touch point to every bloody ecosystem. What the news that came out yesterday, again, folks, are recording on Friday, August 29th. This episode is going to air in 3 days on September 1st, I believe it is. You guys just partnered, well, again, Tether, the parent company just partnered with Bitcoin. Like, there's now not partnered, you know what I mean? It's open source, blah, 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 but there's now going to be stablecoin on Bitcoin as well. It's just like every single ecosystem that matters within crypto, you look for that beautiful USDT logo and it's there. So again, just crazy story, crazy dominance. And I don't think unless you have a really good reason to use one of these specified sort of singular, stable coins for a specific Web2 company, I really can't see it working. That's just my whole thing.
I agree. So I just wanted to make sure. So Tether is not our parent company yet. We are an external party that benefits the Tether ecosystem, and we're very, very much aligned with Tether, obviously, as you could see from the arbitral migration, the Polygon one. But we're still separate entities. Okay. All good. We're separate entities. But about what you said about Bitcoin, it's actually insane. Like, I like to call myself somewhat of a Bitcoin maxi, a reasonable one. I don't like Bitcoin maxis that try to go around and stab people. But at the same time, I love Bitcoin. That's what brought me in this industry. That's what I think we all need, and that's how I save my money, and et cetera, right? So seeing Tether pushing those boundaries with all of those new technologies, taproot assets, Lightning, RGB now, it's really cool. I would love for the Bitcoin community and the Bitcoin ecosystem to be a little bit more developed, because if that was the case, we would probably go there with USDT0, or at least create some kind of interoperability solution. It's just that I think, I don't want to speak for Paolo, but it seems to me like it's a priority for them to get some version of USDT on the most decentralized, censorship-resistant, and battle-tested network in the world as soon as possible. And I can see why, right? Like, I live in Lugano, and as I said before, and we have something in Lugano called the Lugano Plan B, which means that you can go around and pay in like 400 shops around the city with USDT, now USDT0 on Polygon, and Bitcoin Lightning. And I don't have to use it because I have a credit card, but every time I do, it's very nice because I feel like I'm part of something, and I'm trying to push forward a certain narrative, et cetera, et cetera. Merchants hate me because I always have to make them use the POS, et cetera, but it's part of the game. And I'm really looking forward to be able to try to do it with USDT built on Lightning and RGB. And on our side, I can tell you that we are looking at all of those technologies with a lot of interest. And we would love to be able to effectively use them and integrate them more in the USDT0 network or the legacy mesh or anything that we're doing. It's just taking a little bit of time on our side to get up to speed with those technologies. But it's some of the most exciting upgrades in the Tether ecosystem that I've seen.
Yeah, well said. Very well said, mate. Lorenzo, we got to take a quick break. Huge shout out to our sponsor of the show, Prime XBT. When we get back, we're going to take a deep dive into USDT0, and in particular, where they buzzed, and I mean, literally blew the top off on two incredible ecosystems in Hyperliquid and Plasma. I mean, the growth in both of these was absolutely insane. Until then, huge shout out to Prime XBT, longtime friends and longtime sponsors of the Crypto News podcast. We love the team at Prime XBT, as they offer a robust trading system for both beginners and professional traders. It doesn't matter if you're a rookie or a vet. You can easily design and customize your layouts and widgets to best fit your trading style. Prime XBT is also running an exclusive promo for listeners of the Crypto News podcast. Use the promo code CryptoNews50. That's CryptoNews50, all one word, to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Again, CryptoNews50 to receive 50% of your deposit credited to your trading account. Now back to the show with Lorenzo. All right, mate. Hyperliquid and Plasma. You can choose which one you want to talk about first. Insane growth. I mean, Jesus, even on, like Hyperliquid, you look at every single decentralized app within the Hyperliquid ecosystem. You look at the volume that is just on, Project X, which came out, 6 weeks ago, a month ago, maybe 5 weeks ago. Insane. Every single trading pair, every single liquidity pool, USDT0, 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 crazy volume, crazy yields. People want it. It just works. And then on Plasma, 1 billion in Plasma deposits to USDT0. That is absurd. And that is not as the main, that's not the main stablecoin layer. That's the additional stablecoin layer. That's the interoperable stable. It's just wild. So you can choose which one you want to talk about first, or maybe talk about both of them. But I think a lot of the listeners want to hear about how you guys sort of integrate it so quickly, how you made it so seamless, and just some of the growth you've had on these. Congrats. Absolutely incredible.
Lovely deal. So let's start with Plasma, just because Plasma, again, it's kind of like family for us. We back them, we love them. We've been working together with them for the last 10 months. I think they were one of the first teams in the world that actually knew that USDT0 was being built. When we were building USDT0, a very selected amount of people in the industry knew that this thing was coming, and Plasma was one of those, because obviously the Bitfinex relationship, the Tether relationship, and they were like, hey, we need USDT on our chain. Can you help? And we're like, yeah, that's kind of what we do. So we sat down on the table, we made it happen, and we're very excited. So my first take on Plasma is that I've very rarely been as excited about an ecosystem launching than I am now when I'm about to see Plasma going live. Plasma is some of the best teams, and I really say that. And I know I say it often because we are lucky enough to work with a lot of great teams, but very few have been able to explain what they're doing and execute on a level that the Plasma team has. Paul, Vinny, everybody in the team is absolutely amazing. They are literally caterpillars. They get a goal and they just walk towards it until they finally make it happen. And for us, this is just beautiful to see it going, see it executing, see it going live, right? They decided to choose us as their canonical USDT on the chain, which is something that is super powerful for us and something that really humbles us, because a chain purposely built for stablecoins decided to go with USDT0 even before USDT0 was launching. So going with it right now, it's kind of easy, if you will, because 150 million volumes a day, Polygon and Arbitrum already being added. Everybody sees the vision. But when we first pitched it to Plasma, nobody did, other than them. And it was very, 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 very important for us and something that we hold very, very dearly. I'm excited. Their pre-deposit campaign was fucking amazing. They were only able to execute it through USDT0, by the way, because there is no way that you can just have a pre-deposit campaign with any other representation of USDT unless you run your own bridge, but then you have interoperability problems and so on and so forth.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. And it's just so exciting, right? Because they really are they're going right every single step that they're taking. Like, they're always making the right decision. They're always making the long-term vision decision. They're not looking for short-term gains, despite what the market is trying to make them do. And for us, it's just amazing, right? Like, they're a great team. We love working with them. We would really, really like to, we will contribute throughout the whole ecosystem, right? Like, for us, Plasma is one of the pillars of our networks, like all of the USDT0 networks are. But so far, I think to date, they are the largest, because Polygon has 1.41 billion USDT issued, but Plasma, including the Binance campaign, I think it's a little bit higher. But again, we treat them as core partners. We love them. We're really, really looking forward to see what they're going to be able to build. And they leverage the narrative of this cycle perfectly. They had a vision that they have executed on, and they're just the best. I would highly recommend everyone that is looking for a place to use their stablecoin to check out Plasma along the other avenues that we have on the USDT0 network. And they're great. We love them. On the Hyperliquid side of things, this is a little bit different from us, because all of our, as I told you, all of our team is DeFi native, which means that all of our team is very Hyperliquid aligned. We saw for the first time, absolutely, because like Hyperliquid to me has been, I mean, not to me, I'm not trying to be a smart ass here. Everybody knows that it's likely the biggest win in the history of DeFi, maybe after only Aave and a few other blue chips. And we were looking at this ecosystem and we realized, well, first of all, it's all built on a stablecoin that traders do not love to use, because the trader's stablecoin is USDT, not something else. And we were like, well, that's a bit weird. We believed back then that Hyperliquid growth was being somewhat constrained by these problematic.
It still
is. We should reach out to them.
Yes,
it still is. I agree with you. I agree, but it takes time, right? It's a complex infrastructure. They're pushing technology boundaries every day. So it's okay for us to take some time. What we want is to give Hyperliquid users and its community the ability to choose between the stablecoins that they want. I'm a big supporter of the fact the ecosystem should not be exclusive. Like, my opinion is that you should always have as many stablecoins on your network as you feel comfortable with, but you should not force your users to hold one, because there's a bunch of things that can happen if you force people to use a certain stablecoin, and it might be a bit confusing. So we saw Hyperliquid, and right next to Hyperliquid, we saw HyperEVM, which was the L1 EVM layer that is effectively directly tied with Hypercore itself, which is the actual L1 DEX. And nobody was caring about it. There was no centralized stablecoin on. There was no representation of a centralized stablecoin on. There was just one of the strongest communities I've seen in crypto trying to build something out without any VCs backing and anything of the sort. So we sat down on a table, and huge props to my co-founder Kevin, because he's the one that actually really looked into this thing and brought it forward every time we had a meeting. It was like, we have to go on Hyperliquid, we have to go on Hyperliquid, we have to go on Hyperliquid. And we just decided, okay, listen, let's try, right? We're going to run a validator with our partner Luganodes, our USDT0 Luganodes validator. We're going to get USDT0 on the network, and let's see how it goes. And from the moment we launched it, it's been steadily growing. So without any particular campaigns on our side, without any particular push on our side or anything like that, Hyperliquid went from 0 to $171 million in issuance in a matter of like 4 months.
That's
in a fully organic way.
It's all organic. Like, well, for the For the listeners who don't
organic, yeah.
understand how Hyperliquid works, you can't just really call them and say, hey, you know, it would make our lives a lot easier if you could give us a bunch of hype so we can make some pools and do this and do that. We want a 15% discount and we got to lock it for a year. Jeff won't even pick up your phone call. Like, you know, Jeff's too busy working 20 hours a day and barely sleeping. And then, you know, coming on a podcast, hopefully like mine one day, and I ask him about something in the world and he has no clue because all he does is build, you know? So for the listeners at home, yeah, Lorenzo and the team, this is literally 100% organic. There is no way they could have, you know, got any help from the team anyway. You know, hopefully
yeah, exactly.
Sorry, continue.
They helped out on the general vision, obviously, and we told them, guys, our goal is to be able to have Hyperliquid users the ability to choose between the two stablecoins. You decide which. We don't care. We just want to give this option. And we're like, okay, let's start on HyperVM. Let's see how it goes. And we built this whole system. And again, this is a huge shout out also to our technical team because it was amazing. We were one of the very first teams in the world that would allow people to deposit their stablecoin into Hyperliquid from any of our supported networks. What we were doing is that we were basically jumping through HyperEVM, and then any network in the USDT0 network could send USDT0 to HyperEVM, and then there a composer transaction was triggered that basically sent it directly on Hyperliquid. What this meant was that instead of just having to go through Arbitrum, for example, like you usually do with USDC, you could deposit your USDT0 on Hyperliquid on 12 networks, something like that. And it was cool because like people started using it, right? And obviously the HyperEVM side of things grew even more. With a big thanks goes to all of the partners, chains, and all the partner protocols that actually made it happen: Hyperbit, Hyperland, Felix, et cetera, et cetera. And now what we're seeing is that now all of the technology on Hyperliquid is catching up with USDT, right? Like you can now quote your assets against USDT. You can do spot pairs against USDT. We hope that perp collateral is going to come up soon. Obviously, there's a lot of technical stuff that needs to happen, but we're very confident that the Hyperliquid team will be able to execute it. And for us, it's just been really, really amazing to see an ecosystem where we just gave a product to its community, and its community grew it to what is now the third largest USDT0 network, I think. And it's even larger than some old USDT deployments like Celo, like Kaya, like Kava. It's very exciting to see, and it's something that we really hold dear. And I am personally in Hyperliquid Maxi. I love Hyperliquid. I think they're doing an amazing job, and we're really looking forward to support them all the way, because I think the biggest traders community, the centralized trading community in the world, should have the best stablecoin in the world to use when they're there.
Yeah, well said, mate. Yeah, this episode's been awesome. Fire me up. A couple more questions, we'll wrap up. Just as a bit of a summary for the listeners who still, because again, you and I have been a little high level on this pod. For the folks who might not fully understand what exactly USDT0 is, in my eyes, really just unifies liquidity fragmentation, gives it consistent identity and sort of liquidity layer across many chains. Again, even what I said is a bit of a mouthful, so my apologies, but how would you sort of explain it to a 5-year-old in an elevator? You know, you got 1 minute, like what is USDT0? And this is a tough question, so my apologies.
USDT0 is the solution to a problem. The problem was the best stablecoin in the world was expanding somewhat, not at the speed that we wanted to see it, and it was moving between chains in a pretty outdated way. USDT0 is the solution to that problem. That's all we're trying to do. That's our guiding light. That's what guiding star, I guess you say. That's what we do every single day. We are trying to make stablecoin transfers between chains as seamless and as reliable as stablecoins inside a chain are. Transfers inside a chain are. Our goal is to basically to have users not have to worry about the network they're on. If they're USDT users, they can be on whatever network they are on, and they can move between those networks for free without limitation of size and in a fully permissionless and transparent way. That's our North Star. That's what I wanted to say. That's what we're building towards, and that's what I think we are starting to see happening, because with the addition of Polygon and Arbitrum, we're now looking at around the 2.7, 2.8 billion USDT tokens that are moving between our infrastructure. And despite this relatively tiny number, we are already moving nearly as much money as CCTP is doing. We are already the largest single bridging solution in the world after Hyperliquid, but again, I don't think it's a bridge. That's just what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the best product in the world, which is USDT, just a tiny bit better. And by doing so, we're just saying insane adoption and insane uptake. And we're trying to do the same thing also for all of the other Tether assets. I think this is I want to make this clear. USDT0 is not only USDT. It's also Tether Gold. It will also be some other stable coins that I cannot disclose yet, some other denomination that are already live on Tether and that need a way to go across chains fast and seamlessly. what we want to be is a one-stop solution for Tether interop and expansion.
Yeah.
And we're very, very grateful for the way the community is using us and the trust that Paul and the Tether team are giving us when they give us exposure, when they help us out coordinating those large migration like the Arbitrum one, where Tether multisig effectively transferred ownership of the USDT token with 1.3 billion in supply on Arbitrum towards us.
Wow.
It's a lot, right? Like we feel a lot of this responsibility, and we're working every day to make sure that we are we're exceeding expectations, and we are really making this Omnichain reality happen.
Well said. One last thing.
That was that was a mouthful too, by the way. Yours was way cleaner and shorter.
It was very good. But one other thing that when I was thinking about and when I've used it, I'm like, no more third-party bridges. And third-party bridges are literally the pinnacle of crypto hacks, like North Korea, Russia, whoever. And my apologies to the North Koreans and the Russians, because there's a lot more good of you than bad of you. But I just use you because you guys are both very good at hacking. So again, my apologies. I always say it to my North Korean boys and to my Russian boys. But they always go for the third-party bridges, Lorenzo. It is the easiest place. And I'm not a tech guy like you. I don't get the whole back end behind it. But on Crypto News, I'll read the articles and North Korea hacks, third-party bridge XYZ, boom, for $100 million. It's always on the bridges. So taking out the third-party bridges is also a huge, huge W in the chat to make crypto just a little bit safer as well. So just well done.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to you and the team there.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, again, for us, we do not see USDT0 as a bridge. We see USDT0 as a standard, right?
Yeah.
We do not have centralized point of failure as you traditionally see them in bridging infrastructures. We run a decentralized and permissioned infrastructure, meaning that USDT0 tokens can be frozen, USDT0 tokens can be blacklisted in the same way as USDT tokens can be whitelisted, blacklisted and frozen following law enforcement orders. For us, it's literally a matter of I was here when multi-chain was hacked. I was here when the wormhole hack happened in 2022. It scared me. It scared me a lot because every time we were doing a step forward in interoperability, we're taking three steps back because decentralization isn't like things converge towards centralizations. And what we're trying to do is do the opposite. And I don't want to speak for Layer 0, but I think that's the way Layer 0 products are built. You can run your own DVM, you can run your own executors, you're running on a permissionless infrastructure that can be made permissioned. And for us, it's just very important. Like, I don't want a user to be able to rely on 5 different bridges if they're trying to use USDT. It's too much risk. They're going to be able to rely on one single infrastructure that is maintained with the highest security standard in the world. We have the 4th, I think, largest bug bounty in the world. We're planning to go up to the top 3 by the end of 2026. We can rely on great partners, Chainalysis, Immunify, etc., etc. I cannot disclose them all because some of them are confidential because it's our security setup. But we care about this a lot, and that's where we put most of our resources, and that's why we're also trusted, if you will, by a lot of people in the industry. And we feel extremely humbled by it. We feel extremely appreciative of this whole thing, and we're going to do our best to keeping this up and developing the USDT0 network in the next 5 to 10 years.
Love it. Mate, before we let you go, can you please let our listeners know where they can find you personally and, of course, USDT0 online and on socials?
Yes, our main points of contacts are Twitter. Again, crypto native, so they tried to make me open a LinkedIn account. It wasn't a nice idea. So our Twitter is at USDT0_TO. You can find all of our links at our documentation, docs.usdt0.to. My Twitter, let me just find it quickly because I always forget what my Twitter username is. At ZeroLore. Yeah, ZeroLore. That was my great marketing skills in trying to find out a nice name. So don't hate me for that. But Twitter is the main place. We have a mirror page, which is a blog page. We're soon going to go pretty powerfully again on all of our channels with educational content, explanation videos, analytics video, because we want to tell people what we're doing, and we know it's not an easy infrastructure to understand, but once you understand it, you really see the power of it. It's permissionless. You can look into it, you can audit it at any point in time, fully on your own. All this kind of stuff I want our community to do. Like, I don't want them to trust us. I want them to verify that what we're doing is the right thing, and it's all on chain and it's all transparently. So check us out on Twitter, check us out on Mirror, etc., and test out our UI. If you're trying to move USDT between chains, test out USDT0.to. Our goal is to be on every network that counts in the next 12 to 24 months. So hopefully everybody's going to be a user of this technology soon, and hopefully we're going to be able to write together a new piece of interoperability industry on the blockchain.
Folks, what an episode with Lorenzo R, co-founder of the one and only USDT0. I mean, knowledge bombs left, right, and center. Stablecoins heating up as always, and they are solving the liquidity fragmentation problem and giving everyone some unified liquidity on every single freaking chain in crypto. Huge shout out to Lorenzo and the team for making this happen. If you guys enjoyed this one, I hope you did. Please do subscribe, hammer that like button. It would mean the world to my team and I. Speaking to the team, love you guys. Thank you so much for everything. And to the listeners, you guys are the best. Enjoy the last couple days of summer. September's coming around, and then Q4. Hopefully it's going to be up only season. Strap into your chairs, get ready to grind, still go touch some grass, and as always, keep on staying happy, healthy, and wealthy. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.